welcome to lesson 11 in your journey with the Legend Copper Flute. So yesterday we left off with you just trying to, instead of think about which note should I play, what exactly should I do musically, to be thinking about it in a completely different way, to try to channel the emotion of what you're seeing and some of the patterns that you might recognize just from human speech that you already know into sounds on the flute, channeling that type of expression into another type of expression. Now today we're going to talk about a few phrases that you can use to immediately kind of get that boost in that kickstart. So rather than say just jumping from one note to another and having to figure out for yourself through trial and error what you like, what you don't like, we're going to introduce a few phrases that you can use so that you have something to go to. You don't feel like you're just, clawing in the dark or whatever. And again, as you are learning how to play this flute, you're learning how to express yourself with music. It's the same thing. You were learning how to say words, and now you're going to learn how to say a few sentences that you have in your back pocket. So the first one, and we'll play this backing track, is just more of an introduction. It's just two notes. It's something that we've already done in the chirping exercise, and that's going from the first note with everything closed to the second note with that first one open. And we are combining a few things there. So we're doing our chirp. Remember that chirp? And then we're also using that first vibrato. We're using that volume vibrato, that huh, 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 huh. And you can see how the speed of that vibrato, again, ideally you want to start with some consistent rhythm, but you may slow it down at the end. And that's another layer or a nuance of emotional texture that you can add into your own playing. This is especially if you are playing this to open up, say, a sound event or a meditation or a yoga class. This kind of just deep introduction is really good for that. It's not about the playing, it's not about the notes, it's just about this, just laying that foundation, that welcome. So that's our next one, and that is going from that note, first hole open, to first three open. And we're doing it kind of quickly. We're having that strong second note until we start using that vibrato, more of what you might call staccato, and that is and you're just doing that the exact same way where you're just going hoo, 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 those puffs of air. And you can see how at the end of the phrase I might be trailing off in the speed and in the intensity, how hard I'm blowing. Go back to that first one. Now, when you are playing the Legend Copper Flute, when you have all of your fingers down, you can kind of think of that as home. And whether you are playing some of these little phrases or you're playing whatever it is that comes to your mind, you can think about bringing everything back home by going back to all of those fingers down. There's this concept in all of human existence of push and pull, of pressure and tension and then release. And that is the story, a thread through human history and the things that make us tick. And it's something that if you can inject that into your playing, it's what feels so really recognizably human and emotional and real about it, is that tension in that release. And so when you think about the kind of tension that you're building up, bringing that home and releasing some of that tension is coming back to all fingers down. So if we are using our first two phrases, tension. If we go back home, tension, release. You're pulling back on that bowstring, right? And then release. So I want you to practice those two phrases. You can go back and forth between them. You can see what kind of tension you want to build up before you bring it back home with all fingers down, and play around the same way that we were just doing with building up that tension and bringing it home. Maybe play the first one, maybe play it again, maybe then you play the second one. Oh, and then you bring it home. And you're going to start to feel what it's like to build that tension and then release it. And that's going to be central in how you play and how you do your own storytelling on the Legend Copper Flute and in any type of musical endeavor. So come back tomorrow and we will be introducing a few more phrases. And behind the scenes of what's happening with these things that you are practicing, I want to just re-encourage you that as you are practicing these different things, it may seem that you're not getting a ton of new information each day, but each little thing is building on the last, and you are building this really great foundation. And as you'll see yesterday, today, tomorrow, the next few days, you are going to start to be playing these things with a musicality that you may not have even realized you had. Maybe this is going to feel new and it's going to feel exciting and fresh and even emotional because you are playing this heartfelt, real music, and you're able to start expressing these things. Even if you're told what notes to play, you are playing them your own way. It's your breath that is bringing them to life in this unique way. It's your decisions that are creating that nuance in that vibrato. And that's really something beautiful. So come back tomorrow and we will keep going. I look forward to it, and I'll talk to you then.